Hello and welcome back to PechPong. Today we're going to be doing some match reviews. I know it's been a while since I've done some match reviews and we're going to be doing them in Germany. I'm currently playing in the 4th league in Germany here, practicing full-time and playing full-time. So yeah, it's been great and I'm excited to bring some match reviews to you guys. Stick around to the end of the video as I'll be showing a little tip on the backhand flip, how to make the transition between short balls and long balls a lot smoother when you're backhand flipping that maybe you've overlooked and can help a lot of players. Alright, so the first opponent we'll be talking about today, his name was Haase Konrad, and he's a very all-around player. So not one thing in his game was extremely strong, but at the end of the day, all of his game was pretty rounded, and I felt like this is to his advantage because there wasn't really one thing I could pick on, and it also lets him become very adaptable. So having a good backhand underspin loop, forehand underspin loop, moving really well, serve returning really well, being able to keep the ball short, also having a very strong defense. All these things are going to let him be able to design a game to beat his opponent depending on what his opponent's strengths and weaknesses are. If anything from his game really sticks out as being a little bit better, I felt like his defense was pretty strong, especially his placement. He was able to really pick on my backhand down the line. So if I used my forehand from the forehand corner, he would be able to block me down to my backhand, and it was kind of making me make a more passive shot. He was using primarily a side spin forehand pendulum serve. He's a lefty that goes into my forehand. He was mixing between side under and side top and kind of oscillating between those, as well as sometimes serving deep into my backhand, trying to kind of spread the table and catch me off guard sometimes. And I was pretty much doing the same thing. I was usually serving mostly side spin to his forehand, looking to get a weak push and make the first opening. As for kind of how the game went, I felt like in the beginning we both had trouble with each other's serves. And with my serve in particular, that forehand side spin serve, I felt like he was leaking them out a lot to my backhand. And I was able to really get that first attack and win a lot of points that way. But as the match went on, I think he started to get a lot more feeling for this ball, and he started to be able to keep it a lot shorter, which then was a little bit more difficult for me to attack because it's short. And so a lot of times I would just come in and try to push that ball again short, and I wasn't exactly able to do that all the time, so I felt like it was starting to give him a lot more attacks, putting me on the defense, which is typically not something where I like to be in that situation. Against his serve in the beginning, I was having a little trouble between the difference between underspin and topspin, and sometimes I would kind of push the ball a little bit high, and sometimes I'd go in the net. And as the game progressed, I started to look to backhand flip. So my options in my head were, I'm going to get ready for my backhand flip, and if it's topspin, then I'll flip, and if it's backspin, then I'll just quickly change into a underspin push. During the second game, I had the idea to really mix up my serves, so instead of just including that side spin to his forehand and the deep ones to his backhand, I started doing some short balls to his backhand with a forehand pendulum serve, and I also started doing some medium-long ones wide. And I think during that second game, it really threw him off, and I was able to get a lot of kind of free points by just mixing in that variation. And that kind of leads me into the idea of tactics against the lefty. And there are certain things that left-handed players do to you that I feel like work really well against right-handed players, but we don't, as right-handed players, don't do it enough to lefties. Something he did to me in this game, which was, I talked about it earlier, which was when I loop with my forehand to his backhand, he was able to block me deep into my backhand. And I feel like this is a little bit easier when you have a left-handed to right-handed player matchup, because the backhand block, it's a lot easier to go down the line than, say, when you're playing against a righty to block with the forehand down the line. So something that I would like to include in my game when I play against lefties is to, whenever they do get that forehand loop to my backhand, be able to block it nice and deep down to their backhand corner. I think that as the game progressed, he was able to keep the ball shorter, and instead of me adapting to that and looking for more backhand flips over the table, I was continuing to expect him to push long, and consequently it was short, and then I wasn't able to keep it again short, so I was giving him that first attack. I could have been a little bit more aggressive and looked for backhand flip over the table, maybe putting me into a more aggressive position, putting him on the defense more. So that's all I have to say for this match. I hope you enjoy the rest of the match, and stick around for the end of the video where I'll be talking about the backhand flip. Okay, so now for the backhand flip, and something that maybe could help you if you're trying to backhand flip more in games. I was working on this with one player, and they said that it tremendously helped their game, as they wanted to start including the backhand flip into their game, but they felt like it was difficult to transition from backhand flips to when the opponent serves deep and long into their backhand. They kind of feel like they got stuck. And the reason was because that they had two different kinds of swings. And on one hand, you have the backhand flip, which is a more wrist-oriented, the elbow's nice and high, and you kind of use your wrist to spin the ball. And the other one was more of a shoulder, elbow oriented backhand loop. And this person used the second one for the long balls when the opponent would serve long, and he tried to use the more wrist-oriented backhand flip stroke for the short ones. And the problem with this was that they were having trouble to transition between the two when it was medium long and also long. They just never felt comfortable. So something that I've been doing, something that I watched good players like Fan Jindong, Harimoto. So the idea is that if it's short, you can use that wrist and the elbow and you can backhand flip. And if it's medium long, you just use the edge of the table and you get a little bit longer with this elbow. and you can take more of a swing. And if it's even longer, like long serves, you do the same thing. You just have that wrist down and you take more of an elbow swing, and you can make a really good aggressive kind of full stroke, but still with this same idea or same structure as a backhand flip. It's just a bigger backhand flip. Now, is it possible to do backhand flips with the wrist and also more shoulder, elbow oriented backhand loops for the long ones? Yes, it's very possible, but it takes a lot of practice, I think. And I think it's a lot easier to just kind of do a hybrid stroke in between. Alright, that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. A little update on my training is I'm also going to be going to Japan for 2 months to be training full time. And then I'll be coming back to Germany and play some more matches. So, yeah, stay tuned for more match reviews. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.